Well, it's the end of the third quarter 2021, and this is your update. Very quickly, markets, how'd they do? Well, every market indice except for the S&P were negative for the quarter. And NASDAQ was down close to 5%. The Dow was down almost 2%. But the S&P was up about a half a percent. So literally, it was kind of a dud quarter, expected, because the first half of the year was good. Bottom line is that I have some cash sitting on the sidelines waiting for a correction that never seems to come. Hasn't hurt us because the market has really not done anything. So that's the good news. I'm expecting we'll get a correction at some point, but I think we're also going to have a pretty decent Christmas because, think about it. There's been supply disruptions, inflation. Those are going to eventually fix themselves. The issue we're having in this economy is, let's talk about the barrel of oil at $82 a barrel today. It's high and it's causing gas prices to increase, which is very troublesome for an economy. It's like a tax. So I'm watching that. But it's because of what happened with COVID early last year when the barrel of oil went negative. It put a lot of these little small fracking companies out of business. So we ended up with a supply shortage. And of course, the policies of our new president haven't helped, but they really are not the reason for it. So I want you to understand that the same thing has happened across the board with everything. Look at your local car dealership. There aren't any cars out there. Very few cars. In fact, my John Deere tractor dealer here by my home, they only have one tractor. That's why we're having inflation. It's too many dollars chasing too few goods. But that's going to change. And that's going to fit the narrative of what I brought up last quarter's update when I talked about calling for deflation. I didn't mean that we were going to get deflation like in a month or two. I meant longer term. I was really concerned about how this cycle was going to end. I knew we'd get inflation, but I don't think it's a long-term problem. I think that as soon as all these supplies start to really come in and start to hit the shelves, that people have kind of made arrangements to deal with this in the short run. So there'll be a lot of supplies and fewer dollars chasing them, which will cause deflation. That's what I'm concerned about because the Fed really has no way to really deal with that. But anyway, I'd like to take the remainder of this to talk to you about something important that I think is overlooked in our lives today. Right now, I want you to think about your life and how wonderful things are. You've got this is like the best time for any human beings to have lived. Yet we spend our time complaining and concerned about the latest, political battle. And, they're doing this, they're doing that. We have all these issues. I mean, 150, 200 years ago, the King of France or King of England, in order to travel, had to travel in a buggy with horses pulling it, with the poop coming out the back of the horse and them having to smell it. When it's raining, they're getting wet. When it's cold, they're cold. Today, we ride around in a climate-controlled little carriage, and we've got all these wonderful things like GPS, and we can Google things, instant information. This is a wonderful time, but we fail sometimes to realize that because we get so caught up in politics. So I'm going to tell you that I stopped looking and watching politics. It was the most liberating thing I could have done because I was getting as frustrated as you. Turn politics off. When was the last time a president or anybody in politics really affected your life? They don't. They're really insignificant. Who cares what's going on politically? Focus on your family. Focus on fun things. Do things to enjoy whatever time you have left because politics are sucking the life out of everybody because the media and social media is putting this in our faces 24 hours a day. And all the conversations everywhere I go are, can you believe this happened? Or, can you believe they did this? Can you believe this is going on? Put that stuff out of your life. I promise you, you will be happier. It'll make for a better life. And that's what this is all about anyway. Personally, I think that the way we save America is we outlaw Republicans and Democrats. No more parties. Why can't we all just be Americans? Because the media and the social media has used this to divide us by every way possible. So I'd like to end this video by saying, I've got a good strategy for your money. We're doing really well. We're very liquid. We're in the right companies. We own good stuff, and we're going to continue to do the right things for you. But we're also going to be cautious because we know that things like this don't continue. These kinds of markets don't continue forever. You got to get a correction. You got to get a disruption, and then you can go on from there. So I'm always available to talk with you about this. So please don't hesitate to call me whenever you need to hear from me. I'm here for you, and I promise you things will be just fine. Thanks.